We are introduced to Winnie the Pooh and some bees, and the stories begin. Before we start, there are some voices that go along with Winnie the Pooh, and maybe it will be easier to understand the story if I do the voices first. Of course, there's the main character, Winnie the Pooh, and he kind of talks a little bit like this, and he's always having trouble talking, and he has to rub his nose a lot. And then he has a little friend called Piglet, and Piglet talks like this and always very fast, and he's just always in trouble. And then he has Owl, who is a very, very proper person, and he speaks very properly all the time, and they listen. And then there's Christopher Robin. Christopher Robin is the little boy in the story, and he's from England, and he talks very much like an Englishman. And he talks about gorse bushes and things such as that. So maybe if these voices you hear coming out of the story will help you a little bit. But right now we're introducing you. Here is Edward Bear coming downstairs now, bump, 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 on the back of his head behind Christopher Robin. It is, as far as he knows, the only way of coming downstairs. But sometimes he feels that there really is another way. If only he could stop bumping for a moment and think about it. And then, well, he feels perhaps there isn't another way. Anyhow, here he is at the bottom and ready to be introduced to you, Winnie the Pooh. When I first heard his name, I said, "But as you are going to say, but I thought he was a boy." "Oh, so did I," said Christopher Robin. "Well, then you can't call him Winnie." "I don't." "But you said," "I said he's Winnie the Pooh. Don't you know what there means?" "No, I don't know what there means." "Oh, yes, I do now," I said quickly. "And I hope you do, because it's all the explanation you're going to get." Sometimes Winnie the Pooh likes a game of some sort when he comes downstairs, and sometimes he likes to sit quietly in front of the fire and listen to a story. This evening, "What about a story?" said Christopher Robin. "What about a story?" Now, I presume the other person is the author, A. Milne, and he's speaking to Christopher Robin. I said, "Well, what about a story? Could you very sweetly tell Winnie the Pooh one?" "Well, I suppose I could," I said. "What sort of stories does he like?" "Oh, about himself, because he's that sort of a bear." "Oh, I see. So could you very sweetly?" "Well, I'll try," I said. So I tried. Once upon a time, a very, very long time ago, about last Friday, Winnie the Pooh lived in a forest all by himself under the name of Sanders. Oh, what does under the name of mean? Well, it means he had the name over the door in gold letters and he lived under it. "Oh, well, Winnie the Pooh wasn't quite sure," said Christopher Robin. "Now I am," said a growly voice. "Then I will go on," said I. One day when he was out walking, he came to an open place in the middle of the forest. And in the middle of the place was a large oak tree. And from the top of the tree there came a loud bzzing noise. Winnie the Pooh sat down at the foot of the tree, put his head between his paws, and began to think. Think, think, think. And first of all, he said to himself, that buzzing noise means something. You don't get a buzzing noise like that, just buzzing and buzzing, without it meaning something. If there's a buzzing noise, somebody's making a buzzing noise. And the only reason for making a buzzing noise that I know is because you're a bee. Then he thought for another long time and said, and the only reason for being a bee that I know of is making honey. And then he got up and said, and the only reason for making honey, oh, so bother, is that I can eat it, he said. Then he began to climb the tree. He climbed, and he climbed, and he climbed, and as he climbed, he sang a little song to himself. It went like this. Isn't it funny how a bear likes honey? Buzz, buzz, buzz. I wonder why he does. Oh, and then he climbed, and a little further, and a little further, and then just a little further. By that time, he'd thought of another song. It's very, very funny thought that if bears were bees, they'd build their nest in the bottom of trees. And that being so, if the bees were bears, we shouldn't have to climb up all these stairs. He was getting rather tired by this time, so that was why he sang a complaining song. He was nearly there, and if he stood out on that branch, crack. Oh, help, said Pooh as he dropped 10 feet to the branch below him. Oh, he said, if only I hadn't, he said as he bounced 20 feet on to the next branch. You see, what I meant to do, he explained as he turned head over heels and crashed onto another branch 30 feet below. What I meant to do, of course, it was rather, he admitted as he climbed very quickly through the next 6 branches. It all comes, I suppose, he decided as he said goodbye to the last branch, spun round 3 times, and flew gracefully into a gorse bush. It all comes of liking honey so much. Oh, help! He crawled out of the gorse bush, brushed the prickles from his nose, and began to think again. Think. And the first person he thought of was Christopher Robin. Was that me? Asked Christopher Robin, in an odd voice, hardly daring to believe it. That was you. Christopher Robin said nothing, but his eyes got bigger and larger, and his face got pinker and pinker. Oh, he was so embarrassed. So Winnie the Pooh went round to his friend Christopher Robin, who lived behind a green door in another part of the forest. Good morning, Christopher Robin, he said. Oh, good morning, Winnie the Pooh, you said. I wonder if you've got such a thing as a balloon about you. A balloon? Yeah, I just said to myself coming along, I wonder if Christopher Robin has such a thing as a balloon about him. I just said it to myself, thinking of balloons and wondering. What do you want a balloon for? You said. Winnie the Pooh looked around to see that nobody was listening, put his paw to his mouth, and said in a deep whisper, Honey.